Hello, welcome everyone.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, I wasn't sure if this was.
Sean and Michael.
So I will tell you, the meeting will get really big. And so you'll probably want to have your microphone off because everyone will be able to hear you in the background and everything going on in your house. And I will mute people if I need to. So only turn your microphone on if you have a specific question. But for the most part, you can use the chat to ask questions and things like that. Want to yeah, so I muted everyone just to get us started. All right. Welcome. We're happy to see you all here. And you don't have to turn your cameras on. That is certainly not a requirement by any means. We're letting people come in. It usually takes a few minutes for people to come in, so go ahead and get yourself situated. Don't feel like you have to have your cameras on if you don't want to. You're welcome to, but you don't have to. The meeting is being recorded for people who miss it, so if you for sure don't want to be seen on camera, definitely don't turn your camera on. And you do have the ability to change your name if you want to, have a different name showing. You're welcome to do that as well. So I want to make sure everybody knows that the meeting is being recorded because that way I make it available to anybody who missed. So just so you know, that is something that you can do. So you can change your name if that's something that concerns you. And like I said, we'll get started in just a minute. I usually wait till about 5 minutes after to officially get started, just giving a chance for everyone to come in. And just so you know, at the bottom of your screen, if your layout is on the bottom, some people have it on the top or on the side, you can use the chat to ask questions or things like that. If you need to ask something, you're welcome to type in the chat. So feel free to do that. Some more people joining here. I'm going to admit them. Thank you everyone for joining us. I know I really should have music playing. I apologize. I didn't get music started ahead of time. That was bad of me. I apologize for that. Still have some more people joining. Alright. Come in. Come on in. Welcome, welcome everyone. We'll just wait about 1 more minute here. And then we'll get started. Thank you all for joining me. Hopefully 7 o'clock isn't too late for you. I was trying to give everyone time to have dinner, get home from work, do all the things they need to do, and hopefully you're sitting in your easy chair with your feet up. Hopefully you're, maybe some of you are drinking a nice glass of wine. This is a good time for that if that's what you do. So definitely put your feet up. If you do put a question in the chat, I will do my best to answer it on the spot. I definitely give time for Q&A. I really do want to answer any questions that you have. That is definitely my goal. I'm an open book, so I try my best to answer everything. If there's something, I do take notes as well. So I have my pen and my notepad here. So if there is something where I don't have an answer, I certainly come back to it and we'll get back to you. So just so you know, ask if you have a question and we can definitely do that. All right. Okay, it's 7:06, so I am going to go ahead and switch to sharing a screen here. So it's gonna jump over to the screen, and I just want to make sure that you can see what I see here. So just before I get going and get moving really fast and people go, wait a minute, I don't see what you see. If you can just type in the chat, someone, do you see on your screen Walker Distance Learning Agreements? Yes, perfect. Okay, so I thank you for responding to me. I appreciate that. As I go through this, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. If you are on a phone and you can't find the chat button, you can unmute yourself and interrupt me. That is perfectly fine. I just want to introduce myself. I am Jennifer Brown. I am the principal here at Walker Junior High, so thank you all for joining me. I'm going to start by sharing just a little bit about some of the things that we have done, because yes, we are on distance learning. And I know that for some of us, it's okay. For some of us, it is terrible. And some of us, we're doing really okay. So it's kind of all over the place. And so we just want you to know that we have, as a staff, we recognize that. We feel your pain if you're in pain. We feel your joy if you're in joy. And if you are just doing all right and just getting through this and being okay, we feel that too. So one of the things that we did is that we recognize that there is a lot to consider and that there's a lot going on, and this is new for everyone. And so we needed to make sure that we put ourselves on the same page to be able to make it easier for you and students to be able to navigate through this, because it's one thing to have to come in and be on distance learning, but then to add all of these steps with technology and everything on top of it, that really, just makes it difficult. So we said, how can we make it a little bit easier? So we came up with some agreements that I thought would be a good idea to share with you. So we started with what we call our distance learning agreements. These are things that as a staff we agreed to, and so hopefully you'll find this very relevant for you. There's a lot of words on this page. I'm not going to read the words to you, but I wanted you to be able to see them, because this is literally from a document that's basically like a contract that we as a staff agreed to. So I pulled the information from our contract that we agreed to. So the first thing we agreed to as a staff is that when you come into Schoology, there will be a very specific course layout for courses. So that's really important because we know that kids are navigating through 7 different classes. And so navigating through 7 classes every day is really hard. And so when they come into a class, and this, by the way, is a fake student account that we have. This is Walker Vikings. And so when you click on that class and you go, okay, where do I go? What do I do? What we agreed to is there would be some basic things that you could count on in every single class. In every single class, at the top of the page, you should see teacher's name, period, email, that information. The teacher contact information should be on the top. So for quick access to find out who that teacher is, what their information is, that should always be at the top of the page. There should always be a white folder that is called Course Resources and Materials. And in that folder, and this is a fake account, so it's empty, but in classes, that folder will have information like, for example, if this was a class where there's a textbook and they need to know how to get to the textbook, frequently asked questions, information like that would be in this. So it's resources and materials. Anything you need to know for that class that would be ongoing would be in here. So something not specific to a lesson, but for the class overall. That's where you would go to find that information. Then there will be a red folder. The red folder is always the current week. So that is the week that you're in right now. And in that week is where you're going to find all of the information for what you need to do for that week. That's going to always be there. Then there will be a black or multiple black folders. And this one, because it's a fake course, is just called previous week's folders. The folders will be listed the week of, and then it will have the date. So you can see this is a fake class, so there's no real information in this class, but it gives you the layouts of what it would look like. So they may have one folder with all the other folders in there, or you may just see all of the other folders there. So that's an option. At the end of the first quarter, the teachers may take all of the folders from quarter 1 and drop those into one folder to make it a little bit neater so there's not so many things to look at. But they will be black folders. Black means completed, already done, things that were done in the past. So black is in the past, red is current, white information. So that is something you can count on in all of your classes. Now, I say that knowing that some teachers are still working on getting their classes laid out correctly. So just want you to know that. So if there's a teacher who's not exactly where they're supposed to be, we're working on that, but that's the agreement that we came up with. Then we agreed to check-ins. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, we know that kids have to do a check-in for attendance. And we found that kids were having a hard time finding their check-in assignment for attendance. And so they were getting marked absent, and then they weren't getting points. And so there was this whole back and forth. And so we, as a team, said, how are we going to help kids? Because this is a requirement. What are we going to do? So the teachers agreed to, no matter what it is, it's going to include the words check-in in the title. So that way students know, check-in, that is my attendance piece for this class. So I must complete my check-in by 2 p.m. for this class. The teachers also agreed that the attendance check-in should be something easy to find, and then if it's an assignment that requires a lot of critical thinking or significant time, that should be a separate assignment from the check-in. And so the goal of the check-in is just that. It's a check-in. It's something simple for attendance, get their brain started, checking them in, how are we doing, kind of thing. It can be, you know, questions from the day, from their what they're working on, discussion. It can be a form. It can be a small assignment, but it shouldn't be a long, big project or anything like that. So that was an agreement. For Check and Connect, teachers will host their Check and Connect second period, and that's live, but they also agreed to a couple of other things for Check and Connect. One is that they have agreed to, when they put the links for their Check and Connect, so for example, period 2 Check and Connect, it should have, period 2 should have the words Check and Connect and the teacher's name and the class in the link. So it's really easy for students to find. That's the goal, is it should be easy for students to find. So even if they go to their calendar, it's there, easy to find, because it has all of the information in there. That is something teachers agreed to, so that is something they will be doing from now on, because a lot of times teachers were just putting period 2 or just Check and Connect or just live or just something like that. And so therefore kids were getting a little lost, and so they weren't sure exactly what things were. So that is something that teachers are going to start doing. They also agreed to that it would be a place where we'd send out school-wide information and announcements. So if kids say, I don't need to do the Check and Connect, it doesn't even matter. Actually, that's a place where we disseminate information. So it might be that they were right that day, it was just a Check and Connect, and we just checked in with them and just asked how they were doing and made a connection. So we had that social interaction with them. But it could also be a day that we're sending out important information, and now they've missed out on that important information. So Check and Connect is very important. So please encourage your kids to participate. The other thing we agreed to is that the Week at a Glance will be posted in all courses. That Week at a Glance will include all of the major topics and activities. So when they come into your folder, you'll see they can call it Weekly Agenda or Week at a Glance. And you'll see it there, and it will have all of the information. It'll tell you how long things should take. It should give you a basic idea of the time frame, and it should list all of assignments, the check-ins, all of that. It should all be on there so you can know, okay, this is everything I need to do for this class for this week. So you can really make sure that you're organized and you're ready for that class, and every class will have that. That will be inside that red folder. So you can find that right there in the red folder, easy to see. It is printable, so you could print it out if you needed to print it out, if that's something that you need to do for your family, because you know that helps you, is have them on the fridge and check things off as you go. Totally reasonable. So you have those. So if you've got a printer and want to print away. If not, you can certainly just go back and look at it and say, okay, it's Tuesday, let's check, did you do everything on Tuesday's list? So you have that. So every teacher will have that in every class in that red folder. Teachers agreed to a couple of things when it comes to posting of assignments. They agreed that their goal is to post all of the assignments for the week by Monday morning for the whole week, with a couple of exceptions. The goal is to post it by Monday so kids can see it and plan. That is the goal. Now, does that always happen? We all know that doesn't always happen, but that is the goal. There are some time-specific things like a test that won't show up until the day of the test because the teacher doesn't want kids to access the test ahead of time, that type of things. Or if something is added because, they were in class and they realized that kids need some extra practice, so they added the assignments. Now, anything that is added like that, the teachers have agreed, if they add something, it won't be due for at least 24 hours. So they won't say, I'm going to add this today, turn it in today. No, they will give kids at least 24 hours to be able to do something, so they won't just throw something out there at the last minute for kids and expect them to do it right then and there. They don't want to put that kind of pressure on kids. They recognize that they are planning their time. Some of them are sharing devices, or certainly want family time and all of those things. So we don't want to put added pressure, but if they need to add that assignment to be able to get more learning in, we definitely want to make sure we can do that, but in a reasonable manner. So that is definitely important. And all assignments should be submitted through Schoology. They shouldn't be emailed or anything like that. They should be submitted through Schoology. So that was an agreement that we made. Even in math, and I know they're using a program called Mathia, you can access that through Schoology to get to Clever, to get to your Mathia and do all of your work in Mathia. So, so that is one of the things they did. All of our teachers agreed to letting you know about when they would be able to provide office hours or support. So in that first piece on their materials page where it says their name and their information, it should also let you know about how to reach them and if they have office hours. And some of them have regularly scheduled office hours, and others say office hours by appointment, because they're going to specialize for your child. If your child needs more time, they're going to give your child more time. Some of them say stay after class and we'll discuss after class and then make appointments there. So that they should be giving you that information so you have that. And then we agreed that a school-wide list of supports will be provided, posted for all, and kept up to date. So this list right here of student supports at Walker, we post it weekly on Schoology in the updates, so you can see that. I also send it out in the weekly email, and these are all different tutoring options and extra supports that we have at Walker. And so you can see that on Tuesdays and Thursdays for our English learners, we have a special support group for them from 12:30 to 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And Wednesday from 3 to 4, we have a special homework club for kids in our Spanish classes, because they needed some extra time to practice Spanish. So we have a special one just for them. And then we have virtual tutoring. This virtual tutoring, as you can see, on Mondays, we have a tutor that's there from 2:30 to 4:30, another one that's there from 3 to 5, and they speak Spanish as well as English, so definitely available in multiple languages. And then on Tuesdays, we have someone from 9:45 to 11:45, another one from 10 to noon, and then another one in the afternoons to early evening from 4 to 6. So the morning one speaks Spanish, another one speaks Korean. They also speak English, but they can speak in both languages as well. So if your child is somebody who's an English learner. So good question. So how do you join? Excellent question. So these are groups in Schoology, and I will demonstrate this for you here in just a second, and so that way you can see how easy it is to join. And so I'll go through this and then I will demonstrate it, because it's super duper simple. Kids can join and then go anytime they want. And that doesn't mean, just because you join doesn't mean you have to go every single time. And then we have Wednesdays, 2:30 to 4:30, and then Fridays again, this is Thursday, so we know Fridays. Then Thursdays again, we have multiple tutors throughout the day. We have as late as 6 p.m. on Thursdays from 12 to 6. So definitely a lot of tutoring available there. And then if they just want to be able to have a place to do their homework and have a teacher available that specializes in certain things, like for example, Dr. Blackshear is there on Mondays and Thursdays from 3 to 4. And then Mr. Takahara, who does math and STEAM. So Dr. Blackshear does science and health, and she is one of our EL monitors, so she works with our EL students. Mr. Takahara does math and STEAM. He's on Tuesdays, and then Mr. Fieldson does history and Spanish and English, and he is there on Wednesdays from 3 to 4. Now, they will help in any subject, but they just are there as teachers to help guide kids, you know, if they just say, you know, I'm not sure how to turn in this assignment. I'm not sure if this is right. Will you look at that? They're there for kids. Again, free, open to anyone. Now, let's say it gets a little bit later in the day. The Anaheim Public Library has virtual tutoring from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. So moms and dads, if you get home from work and you're trying to do some work with your kids and you're like, I do not know how to do this, I can't help them, guess what? Anaheim Public Library has it open till 10 p.m. daily. So there's a link you can click on and you can go there and you can use their live tutoring. They have actual live people that can help you. And then Tiger Woods, which is they call TGR Learning Lab, has also academic support, and you can see on Mondays and Wednesdays from 2:30 to 4:30, and Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 12, and again from 1 to 4:30. So if you were to go to any of these, they're all free. They're all available, and it's just a click to get to them. And then Miss Nelson, our support counselor, does appointments. So if kids need support, they can do that. So let me show you really quick how easy it is to join a group. So Walker Virtual Tutoring Group, you would just click on this code here and you just copy it. And then you come in here and you click on groups. And then you would say my groups, and then you say join group, and it asks for the access code, and you paste the code in and you say join. Now it's going to tell me I'm already a member, but yeah, so you cannot enroll in a group you're already a member of because I'm already a member, but it would say you are now enrolled, and here I am, I'm enrolled in that group. It's that simple to join a group. And then once you're in the group, the way to get to the meetings is just like always. You go to conferences, just like they go to their live classes. And then at the time of the meeting, the conference will be here. So you can see, I'll just show you an example. See, here was tutoring with Katie at 1 p.m. And this was tutoring with Emily at 2:30. So you can see how easy it is. You can do that. And kids would just join by clicking on the link when it's live to go there. That's how easy they can get to tutoring, and Homework Club is the same way. It's that simple. And once you're joined, you're in, and you can just go during any of those times that they're live, and you can click on the link and get in there and join the live class. So I encourage kids to participate. There's no reason for them not to be taking advantage of this support. We have all these supports there. Please take advantage of them. Like I said, I will send this out weekly with any new information. We will add information as we get it, if we get more supports. So this calendar gets sent out through the weekly memo, and it's posted in Schoology as an update. And so if you ever want to find your updates, so you notice I just clicked on Unlimited U, which takes you to the home screen, and it automatically shows you course dashboard. But if you click over here to recent activity, it will show you all of the updates, which is all the information that has been going out. And so you can always, we have a lot that goes out, but you can see there's more here, so you can just click down until you find it. This one has a lot because like this is a fake one, so we have we can see all of these things that you don't need to see, because this one is considered an admin in student account and classes. So it's different. You would only see these. So right here it says Principal Brown Student Supports at Walker, and you would just click on it and it opens right on up for you. And there you go. You have it. And in case you forgot how to join the group, it tells you right here is the instructions on how to do that. So it's there for you. Okay, so that's how you find it. So you will get it in your weekly email, as well as it's posted there in Schoology for you. Okay, all right, grades. Whoa, 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 whoa. Went crazy for a minute there. Okay, grades and reporting. This is always just so, I'm glad that helped. Thank you. This is something that is always such a crazy nightmare for parents. And so let me just start by saying the very last line here. Teachers will follow district policy and provide grace when grading and accepting late work. Grace is the big word this year. Because we all know, oh goodness gracious, this is not easy for anyone. And we're asking junior high kids to use this part of their brain, executive functioning. And we all know as parents, that part of their brain isn't developed yet. And so it's a real challenge for them. And we all know that. And so we know we're asking them to really step up when it's really hard. And so we know that it needs to become a habit, and it's something that they need to practice. So especially at the very beginning, we were not surprised when kids had missing assignments. And I know it was really shocking for parents who have straight A students who started having missing assignments and low grades, and it was freaking parents out and freaking kids out and causing stress. And oh my gosh, that is so scary, and we appreciate that and feel that. And I just want to say, don't stress. Don't stress. Our teachers are stressing about that too, but we're all stressing about that. We're looking at that. We're having conversations about that. And that's part of the reason why we came to these agreements, is because we knew very well that unless we have things systematized, there's no way our kids are going to be able to be okay, and no way that they're going to be able to submit all their assignments and keep up with their work and do that. So just know that it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I can't say that enough. So take that deep breath and say, that's all right. We're going to figure out this system, and we're going to make it better, and we're going to keep doing better, and we're going to keep working on it. And we're going to keep trying to make things even more precise and easier. And as we learn and you learn and we listen to your input, we're going to keep refining until it becomes second nature. So here's the things that teachers have to do and have to agree to. Number one, they do have to have an up-to-date grade book at all times. Now, that grade book doesn't necessarily have to be posted for you. Okay, so contract says that they have to have grades updated, which means it can be a pen and paper old-fashioned grade book that they can be keeping. They have to do that. When do they have to post them? Official grades have to be posted in Aries at all grading periods, which is progress reports, and then quarterly, and then the next progress report, and then the next quarter. So at each one of those grading periods, grades have to be updated and posted in Aries. Okay, so now what does that mean? All right, some teachers are using the Schoology gradebook. It's new for them, so some of them are very nervous about the Schoology gradebook, so they're not quite sure, does it calculate it this way? Is it using my rubric right? Is it, syncing with Aries? Is it, so there's some hesitation with the Schoology gradebook because it's new for our teachers. So some teachers are using it and loving it. Some teachers are using it and hating it. Some teachers are using it, and some teachers are not using it at all. So this is where it becomes difficult for you as a parent and difficult for students, because we're not all on the same page. The reason why we can't just mandate and say you will all use this is because it is new and we have to give teachers some time to learn it, because we don't want teachers trying something new that they don't know and then messing up grades. That would be terrible. So we don't want grades to be messed up. That is not a good thing. So what they did agree to is that they need to communicate with you and with the students how they are going to post grades and where. And so how students can keep track of their grade. So whether it be that they are going to use Schoology and they're going to say, watch Schoology and don't bother looking at Aries, or until the grading period, or they're going to say, don't bother looking. Their teachers have to update grades at grading periods. So I just got a private message. So Schoology does not have to be updated, but Aries does at grading periods, and we did we did check, and every teacher did update grades at those grading periods, because we do monitor that, and we run reports on that. And then we also, just so you know, as parents, I want you to know, we also do where we do what we call as a marks analysis, which means we analyze the teachers and their grades, and is there an outlier? Is one teacher's grades way lower or way higher, or do we see a pattern? We do a comparison. Where are the grades this year compared to last year, compared to 2 years ago? We do a 3-year comparison at every grading period. So at quarter, we did do that. And then we do have discussions and reflections with teachers where we ask them to look at their own grades, and we ask them to break down their grades with the students and their different student groups. Is there a particular group of students who are struggling, and what can they do to help them? What are they doing to support them? So we do have those conversations. So while Schoology does not have to be updated, Aries does. So just so you know, so teachers have agreed to communicate where to go. So I'm sorry that you may have different policies with different classes. I do apologize for that. For now, I'm going to ask for a little bit of grace and patience from you on that. If you are struggling to understand grades, definitely reach out to the teacher. If you're still struggling after you've reached out to the teacher, definitely reach out to your administration and your counselors, and we will try to step in and work with the teachers. So for example, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about art. Ms. Dressendorfer was struggling. She struggles with the technology, and she was very open with that, and she struggled with her updating her grade book and updating grades. And so we've had to work with Ms. Dressendorfer to give her a system for doing that, and she's still fixing some of the mess and the mistakes that she made. And so parents in that class and students have been absolutely wonderful in being patient while she's fixing that, but everything is getting fixed. I met with her again today, and I just sent a message to everyone in that class. I'm letting them know that I met with her again today, just checking on that. So just so you know, there is support for teachers if they are struggling, and support for families if things aren't going perfectly, because we're not perfect. We know that, and we admit that readily. There are kinks, and we know we have to work them out. So we do apologize when they come, and we will work with you. So definitely let us know, because we want things to go well. Okay. Let's go, maybe. Hello, okay. Okay, after hours and weekends, we recognize you guys are working extremely hard. Kids are working extremely hard. Teachers are working extremely hard. And so we said we want to honor the homeschool life balance. And so we want to remind everyone that teachers don't have to respond outside of school hours at that time. However, I do know most teachers are. Most teachers are glued to their computers almost 24 hours a day. please have some patience that if they don't respond outside of school hours, that we do need them to do a little bit of self-care and not, let this run their life either. Because the reality is, if they're responding 24 hours a day, that means that you're working 24 hours a day, and we don't want kids working 24 hours a day either. We want them to have time to do homework, time to do in class, just like they would in normal school, and not have this be the focus of their life. So we definitely recognize that. And so we really, yes. So that is one of the things. So they shouldn't be assigning assignments just over the weekend. It can be that it carries over and they're giving extra time throughout the weekend, but it shouldn't be something they assign on a Friday, due on a Monday. That should not be happening. Now, if it's something that was worked on over the week and they extended it to give more time over the weekend because kids needed more time, that should be allowed, but they shouldn't be doing that. And that was one of the things we asked teachers too. They should not be posting anything new for families to do over the weekend. They shouldn't be saying, oh, here is Saturday, I'm going to post this and it's due on Monday. No, absolutely not. Kids are not required to look at their computers on the weekend. Absolutely not. They're not required to. Now, again, if they're, let's see, will you privately, so when you see how you send these messages to everyone, will you privately message me who that teacher was and what class? So that way I can have a conversation with that teacher, please. That will be very helpful. I would appreciate it, because we definitely need to take care of that. And also, we ask teachers, you cannot post something in the evening after school hours and expect kids to have it ready for the next day. After school hours, kids do not have to check Schoology. So same thing. So we respect your time, you respect our time. We all know there is a balance there, and that's really, 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 really important. And so that is something that we agreed to. Everyone needs to have that balance. And so definitely, yes, if a teacher is not following this, let us know. Please, we will definitely have a conversation and remind them that this is something that we all agreed to, and that they need to respect that. And maybe they just weren't thinking and was like, oh, darn it, you're right. And they need to correct that, and it shouldn't happen again. So definitely let us know if that is not happening. Okay, I want to make sure that you all know, just in case, because we don't want anyone being left out. Everything we tell teachers is when you do assign assignments and things like that, kids shouldn't have to do anything to complete those assignments that they couldn't find in their house naturally. Did you have a question? Sarah, did you have a question?
No. مش عايزين نشكل أم حاجة تاخد بس.
Sarah, you unmuted yourself. Do you have a question? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute them then. Okay, I think that was an accident. All right. Yeah, that should not happen. You should not be getting an assignment on a Friday that's due on Sunday. And so, yeah, we need to, you do every week. Okay, definitely send me a message letting me know who that teacher is, because I will need to have a conversation with that teacher, because that is not okay. Yes, because you should not be having to do it now. Yeah, no. Yeah, I need to talk to that teacher. Okay, I want to make sure that everyone knows that you can request technology. One of the things that I've noticed is that kids don't want to turn on their cameras. So I know everyone's shy. No one ever wants their cameras on, and that's okay. We're not pushing that kids have their cameras on because it slows the bandwidth down and makes everything slow. But one of the things we do want is we do want them to turn on their microphones and speak to each other and to the teacher. And one of the things we're hearing is, oh, I don't have a microphone, or it's too noisy in the background. And so we do have headsets at the school. They are USB headsets, so they can plug in to pretty much every single computer. And all you have to do is check one out. We will do it for free. Yeah, they're not cute little earbuds like the kids like. So they are definitely just for school. They are, you know, the big over the ear, you look like an airplane pilot headsets. And so that is definitely, you know, what they would check out, but they can absolutely do that. So, all right. So to get those, all you have to do is you can call or you can make this appointment. And you just click on this link here. You can also find this information on our Walker website. When you go to the website, you click on important information and then scroll down to make an appointment, and it's all there, just so you know. Now, I love that you asked for IT desk and help support number. I wish we had a specific IT desk. I have requested that, and district said, well, we have a resources link on our website. Well, it's not to a live person. It's just, you know, click on this link and it's directions here. So I'm just going to tell you, during school hours between 8 and 4, if you call our main office, someone will help you. Okay. Our amazing office ladies, I call them the Geek Squad. It's hilarious because many of them are at retirement age and they are not computer people, but it doesn't matter. They have, we have been doing little lessons in the main office for them on how to use Schoology, troubleshooting, and all of that, because they want to be able to answer questions when you call. And so if you call and you say, I'm having trouble with this, can you help? They're going to find a way to help you. I'm just going to tell you that. They may laugh a little bit, and so just so you know, they're going to tell you, oh gosh, okay, this one's got me, and they say, hang on, I got to ask somebody else. So you might end up talking to 3 different people, but eventually they're going to get you. If I'm there, a lot of times they'll send the message to me if I'm not in a meeting. I do happen to be good with technology, so I'm lucky that I have this, and I do have a background of teaching online for many years, so I'm lucky that I have that. You know what, this is Walker's number. However, we would certainly not turn away a family member from Kennedy. Absolutely not, we wouldn't. Now, I want you to know, the agreements that we came up with for Walker are not necessarily going to be followed at Kennedy, because this is something our staff agreed to at Walker. So some of the things might be just a little different, like the folders. They didn't agree to those folders. They haven't agreed to the assignments. They haven't agreed. So Kennedy's things might be a little different, but for the most part, things look the same. For the most part, but the specifics and the systematizing, that's something unique to Walker. So I can't speak for Kennedy, but Walker, we're really trying to make it easy for kids and better for kids, and so that's why we're trying to systematize things. But absolutely, if you call, you know, they're going to try to help you. They're not going to say, well, you have to call Kennedy. No, absolutely, absolutely not. That's for sure. So you mean it doesn't say the letter grade? So if it's not saying the letter grade, so I got a message privately that says teacher put scores on homework, but not indicated the child's grade status in areas like if he gets an A or an F. Okay, you need to, yeah, I'm going to talk about reopening in just a second, just so you know. So you need to send a message to your teacher. They updated Aries recently, and the teachers have to go through each class and do a checklist of a checkbox. And one of the checkboxes says show overall score. And so it must be for your class. That checkbox is not checked. And that's why the overall score isn't showing. It shows on the teacher's screen, but they don't know that it's not showing on your screen. So send them a message to let them know so they can go back into their settings and then make sure that box is checked for your class, because it could be checked for all their classes except for yours. And they don't know because it shows on their screen and it doesn't show on yours. And so they need to be alerted to that. So just so you know, they just don't realize that it's not showing. So I am going to talk a little bit about reopening in just a second. I just want to make sure if either one, you can send the message or the child. It doesn't matter who sends the message. All you have to do is just say, hey, you know what, checking my grades in Aries, and it can be you or the student, and it doesn't show our overall letter grade. Can you adjust Aries so it shows us our letter grade? Thanks. And then the teacher can go in and do that, because like I said, they just don't realize that it's not showing it. So either one is totally fine in either way, as long as they're alerted to it, because they have no idea because it shows on their screen. I just want to check, does everyone know the website to log into Schoology as a parent, so you can get in using your parent account? Does everyone know how to do that? Let me make sure everyone knows. You all have a parent access. You just don't go in the same way as students. Okay. So you go in to app.schoology.com. Okay. And so that's one of the things. Oh, did I do that? Oops. No, I did not do that. Somebody else is doing that. Thank you very much for being, please stop doing that. Thank you. So I don't want to have to go in and do things. Okay. Because I can lock it, but I really don't want to have to go in and do all my tools right now. Okay. All right, because with parents, I don't usually do that. With students, I go in and change things, but with parents, I don't. Okay, so I want to show you. So I'm going to show you. You go to app.schoology. And let me log out. So when you come here, you go to app.schoology.com, and then if you don't, and it's your email that you use to log into Aries, you should have been sent a password directly to that email. Should have been sent a password. Don't fret if you have no idea. You probably got that. It doesn't come from me. It comes from the district, and they don't tell us when they're sending it. So I have no way of telling you, hey, you got this message. It could be in your spam. Make sure you look for it. So I'm sorry, but it's an automatically generated message that goes out. No problem. You just simply click on forgot your password, and then it'll use that email. It'll send you a link to update your password. You can update your password and log in. Now, My login is for a student, not a parent, so I can't show you exactly, but when you come in, then you'll be able to come up here and link to your student, because your email is linked to your student, and that's how you'll be able to see your student. So Kay, that's where you need to see is if your student is here. If your student isn't showing there, then come right here. You should have this button right here where it says support. And then right here, you can do right here where it says report a bug. And then you would say next, and you're going to describe the bug, and you're going to say, I can't see my student. And then you're going to tell them what's going on. And so that's how you should be able to do that. And then they should be able to fix your account to link it to your student. So because there was something wrong where your email didn't get connected to your student. And so then you would just continue submitting this form. And you don't have to do a URL of the page or anything, because it's not anything on that page, it's your overall account. And so you would just say next, 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 and submit. Okay, so just in case, just if anybody else, at the bottom down here, there's this button right here that says support. So if you get in and then you don't see your student, go right here, click support, submit that, and have them fix your account. Okay, so that should fix yours, Kay. Everyone else, you need permission. Seriously? Okay, if you need permission, then simply email me, and I will submit your thing for you. So what I'm gonna need from you is so you're gonna email me, I'm gonna need your student's name and ID number, and I will submit it for you. So if you get into your Schoology account and it doesn't connect automatically to your student, email me, and then make sure you send me your name, and then your student's name and ID number. And so, you know what, the advantage of logging in as you, okay, so then you should have access. If your daughter's connected, then you should be able to click on everything that she can click on. The only thing you can't do is submit assignments. And you can't, because you can't submit assignments, and you can't get into their conferences, because those are limited to students only. So, but you should be able to, just like I can click on a class and I can see all the materials, you should still be able to click on the class, see the materials, and see what the assignments are. You should be able to see all of that, see the calendar, but you can't, so, okay, so when you click on an assignment and get private access, it's because the assignment is a Google Doc assignment, and you don't have a school Gmail account, so you won't be able to see that one. But you should be able to see assignments that are not Google Doc assignments. You can't submit them, but you should be able to see the information. So like right here, this assignment here is a sample Google Doc assignment, right? So when you click on it, right here, it would say that you can't link to it. So you should be able to see the description, but then nothing would show. Is there a way to tell if they turned in the assignment? So that's where it's better to have your student login, because, so you'll notice right here, see how it says unsubmit? That means they submitted. So as a student, they would see that they submitted the assignment because it says unsubmit, and you can see what they submitted because they are actually signed in, and you could see this is what their assignment has on it. So that's where, so if you want to see the assignments they turned in, then yes, have the student log in. That's better to have the student log in. If more teachers were using the gradebook, then you could go to grades and get a grade report, and then you would be able to see more information. So see right here, like not using a grade book, so you can't see anything. But here, if there's a grade book, then it's a grade, you can see the assignment, and then you could see if anything is submitted or graded. But if it's not. So is not necessarily. So Aries, just so you know, Friday is the end of the quarter, which is tomorrow. But teachers have a whole week to update grades. So a lot of teachers are giving kids up till tomorrow to turn in anything late, which means teachers are going to be spending all weekend and the beginning of next week updating grades. A lot of teachers will say when they finish updating grades, I've updated grades, Aries is now up to date. They'll usually send a message out saying that. At that point, just FYI, the district usually shuts down view of the grade book to parents. And so you're like, great, well, you updated the grades and now I can't see it. They do that while they're processing the report cards. So it's kind of crazy. So you could always ask a teacher, hey, I can't see the grade. Thank you for updating grade, but I can't see it. Can you send me what the grade is? So you could always do that. But most teachers are going to be done by Monday. Most of them spend their weekend updating grades. That's the reality. They will spend their weekend doing that because they want to give kids every chance to turn things in. So they say, turn it in by Friday, turn it in by Friday, turn it, so they'll give kids all the way up that. Yeah, so Google Docs, you can't view it unless it's the student logged in. Absolutely right. Student has to be logged in to see the Google Docs. But yes, if you want to know if your child submitted something, then you definitely will need to absolutely have them click on the assignment itself. And I think, let's see, this is a test. Is there assignment here? I'm trying to remember because this is a fake class. So we put fake assignments in things. And I'm trying to remember where there was a fake assignment. Okay, so here, what they'll have is, see, it'll say assignment submitted right here. And then it says resubmit. So you'll know they have submitted the assignment. And if you click on it, it'll show you what they submitted. So you can see this was fake, right? Because, it just says hello. If your child just submitted hello, it's probably not going to get a good grade. Just FYI. So you can actually see, and you can see if there was any comments from the teachers or anything else like that, just so you know. The students can. The student can see it. So if they're logged in, they can see the assignments that are submitted. So they can, once they submit it, because then they can say resubmit. If it's not good or whatever, they can say resubmit the assignment. So students can, absolutely. You can't as a parent, no. But students can. So have your child log in, say, show it to me. Show it to me. Because there have been multiple places where kids have submitted assignments and all it says is done. And so I loved it because the teacher responded, great, I'm glad it's done. Can you send it to me? So just FYI. Yeah, so kids can see. Remember, this is a student view. That I'm in right here, this is the student view. So this is what it looks like from the student perspective of this class. So just so you know. All right. Okay. It's 8 o'clock already. So I want to just chat just a really quick. There is not a specific turnaround time for assignments to be updated, especially late assignments. The rule for late assignments is this. Yes, you can, you can submit assignments as long as the teacher says you can submit it. So if the teacher says they're still accepting, then they're still accepting. So it doesn't matter. So like, for example, if I were to show you, okay, if I were to come in here and I were to submit an assignment here. So this is an example of art. I'm gonna do this assignment. And I'm just gonna say, so I'm coming in as a student in this art class. Now watch what's gonna happen. And I'm gonna say, hi, Miss Dressendorfer. This is just an example for parents. Please ignore. So, and then I'm gonna say submit. Okay, so now you can see the assignment submitted. It says on time. If it was late, it would say late. As long as it takes it, then it's open. You can submit. If it was closed, there would not be a submit button there. However, if it's after the quarter, which is tomorrow, so if it's after Friday, teachers might not accept it after the quarter because grades are already due. So I would submit anything by tomorrow. That's what I would definitely do. But that's how easy it is to submit an assignment, by the way. So just so you know, kids, when they submit assignments, can do it one of three ways. If it's just an assignment and not a Google Doc, if it's something that they typed somewhere else, they can choose upload, and it's a file that they can upload a file. So it's an attachment, just like you attach in an email. If it's something that they need to record their voice or do a quick video, they can literally do that right here. They can click on create, which is where I was. And so they can literally type in here. So they could even type an essay in here. However, I'm going to tell you, if you're typing an essay, I suggest they hit save draft multiple times, just in case their internet or something goes out, just like you are, you know, and anything else. Hit save often. I wouldn't suggest typing an essay in there, but you can, you know, absolutely. It has all the editing tools. You can insert links and everything in there. And then the third choice is resources. And this is where they could go in and pull something from their Google Drive and attach it. So if it's not a Google Drive document, but they type something or created something in Google Drive, they can attach it from Google Drive by using resources, and they just click on that, and then they just say import file, and you'll see that it's adding that PowerPoint there. And so now I just submitted that. So poor Ms. Dressendorfer is going to be so confused. She's going to be like, why did you just add this? But that's okay. She'll get the idea later. So yeah, so I just attached a Google Drive document to that revision. So that's the three ways kids can do those, just FYI. So if it's not a Google document, that's how they do that. Okay, all right, reopening. So what I was saying is teachers, if things are late, a lot of times teachers put that off to the side and they do current stuff first, and then they do their late pile later. So just what I would do is over the weekend, this weekend, like if you want, like on tomorrow in the afternoon, so since it's a minimum day in the afternoon, just you could send an email and just say, hey, I know that it's the end of the quarter, just want to make sure you received this assignment before the quarter ends. That would be reasonable to do, and so that way it's on their radar, just in case. It's totally reasonable to just do a check-in kind of thing. Okay. Everyone wants to know, are we reopening? I want to know, are we reopening? What's the latest? That is up to the teacher. So the teacher will tell you what's the latest they can turn it in. So that is a conversation for that teacher. Some of them might even say over the weekend. It's up to the teacher. So that is something you're gonna have to ask the teacher specifically and see what they say, because they're the ones that have to do all the grading over the weekend. So, you know. That is definitely up to them. All right, so here's what we know. I'm sure you, well, if it didn't go to your spam, you saw the video from Mr. Matsuda, our superintendent, talking about where we stand right now with the reopening of schools. And he said very plainly in that video that it would not be prudent to open our schools at this time. And so that is where we stand right now. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, why can't you just give us a date? And so I want to explain to you why our district isn't just giving a date and not just picking a random date. And the reason is because our district, to their credit, has the best interest of students at heart and really does want to reopen. That is the goal. Our district does want to have students on campus. We miss students just like everyone else. But we also know that having students on campus when we reopen under the strict rules and guidelines that are there is not going to be the same as it was. It's not like we're just going to open school up and it's going to be the same experience as when school was previously. So we have to have all these safety measures in place, and it's not exactly the most exciting thing. So when kids do come back to school, it'll be things like we will do a health screening of every single student before they come on campus. So as they get dropped off, we will do a health screening of every single student before they even walk on campus. Every student must wear a mask all day long, and it's not a face shields can't be worn without a mask. So masks must be worn all day long. In the classroom, outside, the only time they can take off their mask is while they are physically eating. When they're done eating, mask has to come back on. So they have to wear their mask at all times. They must maintain 6 feet of physical distance from everyone at all times, all day long. So that includes at lunch, that includes passing periods, walking through the halls. So if you were to come to our campus right now, I tell everyone it looks like we have measles because we have these circles painted all over our campus indicating 6 feet apart, 6 feet to this, from this circle to this circle to this circle, and indicating the direction to walk. So students know, stay to the right, walk this direction, and then those students stay to the right and they walk that direction, and they're 6 feet apart. And so walk this direction 6 feet apart, staying away from each other. So you're not going to walk in groups with your friends chit-chatting. That can't happen. It's not safe. We have to maintain that 6 feet of physical distancing at all times. Why? Well, because when we're on campus, gosh forbid somebody does, we do have a camera, yes, we do have cameras, and it is for contact tracing. And so that's exactly why. We need to ensure that, gosh forbid, somebody does come down with the virus, that they never came in close contact, which means less than 6 feet of space without a face covering throughout the entire time they were on campus. We need to make sure of that. We make sure that in between, I'll explain in a moment, in between every period, the desks are cleaned. In between every period. Restrooms will not be open during passing period. Instead, students will have to be checked out. There will be adults monitoring outside the restrooms, making sure only a certain number of students go in and out each time. And then we have to clean restrooms on a regular basis. Yes, we will have adults constantly having to remind kids of these guidelines. It's going to be so hard with junior high kids, because junior high kids think it's fun to break rules and think it's fun to be teasing, and they like to do things like, well, you said not touch them, touch, touch, touch. They think that's hilarious. And unfortunately, that is a safety risk now. It is a serious safety risk. And so if we have students who refuse to wear their mask or refuse to stay 6 feet apart, I'm now going to have to send them home. because they're putting their other students in danger. And that's not cool. Teachers, when they teach, have to stay in their areas in the classroom and not get into student space. Students have to stay in their desk. We've gone through and spaced out every single seat to make sure that they're 6 feet apart all the way around. So no matter where you are, it's 6 feet. It's going to be the most difficult thing in the world. At lunch, they have to stay 6 feet apart at lunch. So now I have to have my staff out at lunch monitoring. So we have our tables, 1 student per table. 1. So not, they don't get to sit with their friends. 1 student per table. So when people say, let's reopen right now, my heart stops, because I love the kids, and I miss them terribly, more than you can imagine, because that is just, I love the kids. And when we talk about PE, we won't be dressing out for PE. The locker rooms will remain closed because we can't maintain 6 feet of physical distance in there. So our PE classes used to work together. They're going to have to be kept separate. And so again, everything that they do will be maintaining that 6 feet of space, no sharing of equipment or anything like that, and activities that are appropriate and don't use so much exertion that a mask would not be appropriate to wear. So it'll be very limited as to what they can and cannot do with PE. Our coaches have to go through special training and things for that. So things like that. Band and choir have special requirements of spacing and ventilation. And so it's no easy feat. And so at the same time, we do have the parts of our district that are not meeting the guidelines for cases and the case rate. And so not only are we putting these safety measures in place, but then we don't want to bring people on campus who are living in living conditions where there's higher case rates than what is considered safe for reopening of schools. And so we need to have those case rates come down, so that way we're not bringing the virus on campus unknowingly. And so we have to consider that. So that's why our district is not saying this is the date, because we really need to put our student safety first. And I had this conversation with some parents today, and I said, I appreciate being in a district because I know me as a principal. These are all my kids. They are. I really feel like they're my own. And you know, I liken it to, you know, when we were growing up, well, at least I'm old, so some of you are a lot younger than me, but when I was growing up, you know, we could ride in the back of a truck with no seatbelt. You know, I went across a country in a VW bus with no seatbelts or anything else, and I was totally fine. And so that's just how we did it. Well, now there's a seatbelt law. I would not put my children in a car without a seatbelt. But I was fine without a seatbelt for all those years. And likely, would my child be okay in a car without a seatbelt? Probably. But am I going to take that chance? No. And so I'm not going to take a chance like that with any of your children with something like this. Likely, would our kids at Walker be okay if we reopen tomorrow? Likely, but I'm not going to take that chance with your children. I'm sorry, I'm not. So that's the way I see it. And as far as remaining virtual, so our district's kind of funny. Our district didn't want to just make the option to go virtual just be like an option. However, it is an option, but it's not an official option. I know that sounds kind of strange. So basically what they said is when we go hybrid, if you choose to keep your child home, you get to choose to keep your child home, and they will just do the online portion of the work and everything. They just won't be, we don't have the option to stay home. You just keep your child home. I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of, why would we not want to do that? So I'm going to tell you, I will be asking families ahead of time, so you don't get an attendance call saying, why didn't you come to school today? I will be asking you. If you're going to keep your child home, let me know so we can just go ahead and update attendance and know that. So I will get a list of parents who have chosen to do that, and so we will do that. Officially, our district doesn't have that option, but it is an option. I know it's kind of silly, but that's the way it works. So yes, you have the option without having the option. I don't know why. I don't know why we don't want to call it that, but we don't want to call it that. So that's okay. We just won't call it that. That's fine. So I will definitely work with you. As far as after school sports and things like intramurals go, no, that will not be open for junior high at this time. And we don't even know when we come back hybrid if it'll open for us as well. The reason why high school sports have started practicing is because there are specific regulations with CIF, and it does matter for high school with colleges and things like that. And so therefore that's why they're following the regulations that are coming down from the county and the state and the larger organization. And so that's why that's why I am absolutely fine with, okay, they're following at the high school. We don't have that kind of organization. As a matter of fact, not even all junior highs and middle schools offer intramurals. So it's all in-house. And so we don't have those same guidelines and regulations. And because of the spacing requirements, some of the high schools are having to use some of the junior high facilities to be able to space kids out. And so then that means that there's not space for the junior high. So as of right now, there's not the ability for junior high athletics at this point. That does not mean never, just right now. So just FYI, that is kind of where we're at. We are looking at everything we can. I will tell you, if you do want to know more about our district's plan and what is coming up with our district, October 16th is the next board meeting. I will, and Princess, I know you raised your hand, so if you want to ask a question, you may absolutely do so. Let me just tell everyone, October 16th is our next board meeting, and I will be putting the information on how to watch that board meeting in our my weekly updates. The district will be presenting their plan in that board meeting. So there will be a lot of information then. I don't have all of the information that they're going to present at that meeting now. I will afterwards, of course, but you are welcome to join in. I will be joining in and watching that meeting. You know, absolutely, I want you all to be informed. So October 16th, and I will share that information with you. And then I will have my next chat with the principal after that meeting, so we can talk about it again. And at that meeting, I'm also going to be talking more about our connectiveness in the classrooms and what we're doing as a school to meet the social emotional needs of our students during distance learning, and should we come back hybrid, what we'll be doing then as well. So I want to make sure that you know what kind of supports in that sense. So we've talked a lot about academics and systemness for that this time. So next time it's going to be more about what are we doing to connect with students. So I want to make sure you know that. Okay, any other questions? I want to make sure I'm answering any questions. I really appreciate the questions that are coming in. They're so good and important. Go ahead, Princess, go for it.
I had a question in regards to the 8th grade trip. So I just haven't had any communication from either the instructor that's over that, or because I just don't, and then
Yeah.
I got the insurance, so I can retract whatever I put in, but is it going to be like maybe a across the board insurance because no one planned for this at all, or
Yeah. So
so?
I will tell you, it's kind of a up in the air kind of thing right now. And technically, it's not district related, so it doesn't matter what our district does. Regardless of what our district does, it's what the company will decide to do. So the good news is it doesn't matter what's going on in our local area. Does matter what's going on in the areas we're going to visit. So you kind of have to watch how things are going across the country for that, and that's how they'll decide whether they're going to go forward or not. So it depends on how things open up, with the hotels and the tourist spots and things like that, that they would be attending. So like New York is one of the places we went, and New York is still not open very well. So, like DC, a lot of things still aren't open. So I think they're kind of watching to see, is it going to change? If it is, and it's going to open, they'll go forward with it. If not, then it'll be okay, well, sorry, we're going to have to just, give you all your money back, and it's not your fault kind of thing.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
So keep your fingers crossed. We're all hoping that this is all, Tanya, I know. We're all hoping that we're going to be gathering all the data we need, and we're going to get through this, and it's going to get better. Oh, please, I hope so. I will share just, personally, I know of 2 people that have died from COVID myself. A dear friend of mine, who's my age, passed away. And then my husband has been dealing with COVID since May. He got it from work, and had a super duper mild case. And we thought, no big deal. He just lost his sense of taste. He was going to be one of those people that, no big deal, nothing, right? No one else in our family got it. We thought, no problem. That was in May. And now here we are in October, and we are still dealing with things from him. He has had nerve damage, major issues with his immune system. He was driving down the freeway and passed out, blacked out while he was driving. So we're seeing all these specialists and all of these things. The long-term effects are crazy, and they can't seem to fix him. And so he's been off work and back to work, and then off work again, and it doesn't seem to go away. And he tests negative now, but he's still having the effects. And like I said, he tested positive in May, and here we are in October, and we're still dealing with this. So I just feel for families. It is just so hard, and we're very lucky. We have good insurance, and we have, everything we need with our work. We're doing fine, and I've been able to work from home some, and he can work from home some. So we've been very, very lucky as a family. But I can't imagine people who don't have the support that we do, what they're going through. So I know it's very, very serious. And I will tell you, one thing very concerning to me is that I watch the numbers, and while numbers have kind of gone up a little bit again, but ICU beds have been okay. What I've noticed is the numbers of children 0 to ages 17 has increased since schools reopened. That bothers me. That bothers me a lot. So, yeah, so I definitely worry. So I just, I'm a prayer, so I'm gonna pray. If you don't pray, that's okay. Don't pray. Meditate. Do whatever you need to do. Positive thoughts. This is all gonna be great. I hope that what we're doing at Walker is making it better for your children. We are interested in hearing your ideas and your concerns to make things better. So definitely let us know. Reach out to us. Let us know what we need to do to help, because we definitely want to help. All right. It's 8:30. It's time for everyone to go to bed. Oh, I thank you, Tommy. I just saw your message. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. All right, go rest. Absolutely. You all earned it. I know you've all been working hard. Absolutely hard. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Good night, everyone. Thank you. And thank you all for your patience and understanding for this. And yes, it is being recorded, so I will share it. Yes.